Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video where I say words and you listen. It is I, your Grand Admiral, your Steward of Gondor, your genius, billionaire, playboy, basic YouTuber philanthropist, SuperCliff. Thank you. And please, if you like what you see / hear, then hit that like and subscribe button, for every little bit helps in this YouTube world. And speaking of Grand Admirals, let's talk about everyone's favorite and the most bluest to date, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Forewarning, this video will contain spoilers for Disney's The Mandalorian and that of Star Wars Rebels. So yeah, there's your warning. Now, in the most recent episode of The Mandalorian, Chapter 13, The Jedi, Ahsokatano name-dropped Grand Admiral Thrawn, demanding that the magistrate reveal Thrawn's location. And I can almost guarantee you that myself and anyone who has delved deep into the Star Wars universe, past the movies, had their hype vessels burst upon hearing this character's name. However, when it comes to the average Star Wars fan, I am sadly aware that most people don't know who Thrawn is. So I figured I'd make a video about Thrawn, explaining the impact he made within the Star Wars franchise, followed with an entire rundown of backstory, everything you need to know involving Grand Admiral Thrawn's reintroduction into Disney's revitalized continuity of the Star Wars universe, concluding this video with my theories involving Thrawn's comeback and where could things, story-wise, be heading within the future. Evil laugh. Let's begin. You couldn't have grown up a Star Wars fan without encountering Thrawn, an heir to the Empire. It was a dark time when there weren't any more movies, and it blew our minds that there could be more. Davefiloni. A long time ago, in the year of 1991, it was a time when it had almost been a decade since the release of Star Wars Return of the Jedi. So the idea that another batch of Star Wars movies were someday going to be developed was non-existent. In truth, I think the perfect word to describe the continuation of Star Wars at this point in time would be unknown. Fortunately, this would all change with the release of author Timothy Zahn's first entry to one of the best Star Wars stories ever created, Star Wars, Heir to the Empire, the first book to what would later be known as the Thrawn Trilogy. This series of books takes place 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi / the Battle of Endor. The Rebel Alliance, who at this point have established themselves as the New Republic, have successfully managed to drive the remaining Imperial forces to the distant corners of the galaxy. And yeah, everything is pretty dope with the good guys. Han and Leia are married and are expecting twins. Luke is in the initial process of rebuilding the Jedi Order. The Imperials are on the verge of collapse. Nearly 3/4 of the known galaxy have aligned with the New Republic. It's basically safe to say that the Galactic Civil War is nearing its end, and that a new dawn of peace is nigh. But unfortunately, that hopeful thinking will be stomped out of existence as Grand Admiral Thrawn takes command of the shattered Imperial remnants and leads a successful campaign against the New Republic, nearly destroying the government that our heroes had fought so hard to obtain. Now, what made Thrawn stand out amongst Star Wars villains wasn't because he used fear as a tool, nor was he a dark side user who wielded a badass red lightsaber. Thrawn was extremely intelligent. I take that back. Thrawn was the most intelligent being throughout the galaxy. He was a master technician, able to take a small, morally depressed fleet of ships and turn it into a galaxy-wide super threat. Throughout the trilogy, Thrawn was portrayed as a cool, calm, calculating individual. He never insulted his soldiers, but rather he would inspire them, which in turn gained the respect of his men. Yet, under his calm demeanor, Thrawn was ruthless, and he always gave off a vibe that despite the New Republic's outnumbering the Imperials 10-1, it always felt as if Thrawn was in total control. In addition, he wouldn't allow pride to cloud his judgment. Like, if the roles were reversed and Thrawn was Tarkin at the end of Episode 4, Thrawn wouldn't have stayed aboard the Death Star. He would have, without a doubt, evacuated the station, for Thrawn was not the type to leave things to chance. Thrawn also had a strong appreciation for art, for he believed that studying it would allow him to delve deep into the psyche of the people of the cultures that the artist belonged to, thereby helping him to learn enemy tactics. And in order to protect himself from Force users, Thrawn would always have these cat-like alien lizards called Yesamari, I can't pronounce words, which deflected the Force as a form of self-defense. Plus, Thrawn's an alien. Dude's a blue Chiss. Therefore, the fact that an alien obtained the highest ranking position in the Empire was completely unheard of, since the Empire was basically racist towards non-humans. So the fact that Palpatine allowed this to happen, and not only that, but saved Thrawn as the Empire's ace in the hole, spoke volumes. And the only reason as to why Thrawn's campaign failed was because one of his bodyguards decided to assassinate him in the middle of a battle in which Thrawn would have won hands down. Now, although Thrawn died at the end of Book 3, The Last Command, it's because of the Thrawn Trilogy's success among its readers, the established love for its new characters, that essentially advertised the message saying that Star Wars stories are infinite and that the Star Wars universe as a whole is unlimited. Therefore, this jump-started the Star Wars hype train once more, marking the dawn of a new era in the Star Wars expanded universe, as it paved the path for hundreds of Star Wars books, comics, and video games to be created, supplying ample thirst for Star Wars fans until the release of Star Wars The Phantom Menace, solidifying its position among the cultural everyday landscape once more. However, even with the creation of hundreds, possibly thousands of characters for the expanded universe, the most popular and the most beloved of these creations was still Grand Admiral Thrawn. This blue-skinned alien was so loved by fans that after Disney's purchase of Lucasfilm, Thrawn was one of the few Star Wars Legends characters to be transported over to the new Star Wars canon, making his return as the main antagonist for the last 2 seasons of Star Wars Rebels, where his previous characteristics, traits, and his presence were all thankfully kept intact. And now, let's begin with Grand Admiral Thrawn's lore/history. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get hyped. To defeat an enemy, you must know them, not simply their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art. Thrawn. Kivu'raw'nuru, wow, that's hard, there it is. Later adopting the name Mitth'raw'nuruodo, these names are ridiculous. Though better known by his core name as Thrawn, was a male Chiss, hence the blue skin and the red eyes, who was born on the planet of Rentor in the unknown regions of space, an uncharted region that, unbeknownst to the rest of the galaxy, was actually under the control of the Chiss Empire, known as the Chiss Ascendancy. Thrawn would join one of the Ascendancy's military academies, where he flourished and rose through the ranks, becoming a well-respected member of the Chiss Empire. Side note, the Chiss Ascendancy were isolationists. They had almost no contact with beings outside the unknown regions, and to those residing outside of Chiss space, the Chiss were thought of as nothing more than a legend. This would all change, however, upon the Chiss's mysterious discovery within the unknown regions. Now, in Legends, this threat was known as the Yuuzhan Vong. However, in the current timeline, they're known as the Grisk, where we have yet to see their actual appearance. Now, whether or not the Grisk are Disney's version of the Yuuzhan Vong is still unknown, but regardless, whatever the Grisk are, they deeply scared the shit out of the Chiss. Therefore, the Ascendancy assigned Thrawn, who had obtained the rank of senior captain at the time, to explore the Outer Rim territory in order to find suitable allies against this unknown threat. This expedition would lead Thrawn to encounter Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars, where the two would find themselves working alongside one another to rescue Padme from the Separatists. During this adventure, Thrawn was able to learn about the Clone Wars, as well as the history, the structure, and the practices of the Galactic Republic. Anakin became extremely impressed with Thrawn's combat prowess during the course of their time together. Anakin was that much impressed that he later mentioned Thrawn to Palpatine, which would lead Palpatine in taking a greater interest in the character. Now, although Thrawn respected Anakin Skywalker, he didn't find the Republic to be a suitable ally for the Chiss. Thrawn basically thought that democracy was stupid, since everyone had a say within the government, thereby being unable to accomplish anything due to disagreements. Thrawn would continue to search the Outer Rim for potential allies, and whilst doing so, the Clone Wars would eventually end, and the Republic would become the Galactic Empire. And because the Empire was now clearly ruled as a fascist dictatorship, the Chiss Ascendancy ordered Thrawn to join the Empire and to become best friends with them in order to combat the unknown threat facing the Chiss. Thrawn managed to catch the attention of the Empire and was eventually taken to Coruscant, being granted the opportunity to meet face-to-face with Emperor Palpatine. Once he arrived before the Emperor, Thrawn offered himself as a resource. He informed Palpatine that the Ascendancy had discovered a mysterious threat in the unknown regions, offering information on the threat in exchange for the Empire's help. Thrawn also name-dropped Anakin Skywalker in order to help convince Palpatine that he was to be trusted. The Emperor informed Thrawn that Skywalker had spoken highly of him. Palpatine therefore accepted Thrawn's offer for information on the unknown regions, and in return the Emperor offered Thrawn a role in the Imperial Navy. Thrawn accepted, and upon arriving at the Royal Imperial Academy, Thrawn was immediately met with hate, and throughout his time at the Academy, he was constantly bullied for being non-human. Yet despite such hostility, Thrawn flourished at the Academy, graduating with the rank of lieutenant. Thrawn would later spend time hunting smugglers and pirates within the Mid-Rim, instituting security and order. And due to his success against the pirates, Thrawn's reputation grew. He would later begin to mingle with the Empire's influential elites, such as Grand Moff Tarkin and Colonel Wolf Yularen. And following his continuing successes, Thrawn was later promoted to the rank of Commodore. And later, after the success made during the Baton Insurgency, the Emperor promoted Thrawn to the rank of Grand Admiral. Since Thrawn was now at the height of his Imperial career, he served as the main commander of the Imperial 7th Fleet. Aboard his flagship, the Imperial 1-class Star Destroyer, the Chimera. Thrawn was later deployed to the Lothal sector, where Governor Price, a political rival of Thrawn, had requested the Grand Admiral's assistance dealing with the Rebel Alliance during the start of the Galactic Civil War, which is shown during the course of Star Wars Rebels. Now, simultaneously, Thrawn would continue to invest resources into certain projects to help the Imperials combat the incoming threat of the Grisk. such as the project featuring the development of the TIE Defender Elite. Now, during his time in Rebels, Thrawn would pose as a serious threat against our heroes, always being that type of villain who was constantly one step ahead. However, Ezra Bridger managed to defeat Thrawn during the show's season finale, as dozens of Purrgils, flying space whales with tentacles, were summoned by Ezra in order to help the rebels' liberation of Lothal. The Purrgils managed to wrap their tentacles around Thrawn's flagship, with Ezra aboard, and in a moment of desperation, the Chimera jumped into hyperspace, leaving both Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Miller's statuses being unknown. Following the Battle of Lothal, the show's final scene showcases Ahsokatano and the Mandalorian warrior known as Sabine taking off into space in hopes of finding Ezra. Many years ago, Thrawn told us that if he was ever reported dead, we would keep at our labors here and in the unknown regions, and to look for his return 10 years afterward. Vos Perk. And there you have it, folks. Everything that you need to know about Grand Admiral Thrawn, as he is known in the current Star Wars lore. Now let's talk theories. Following The Mandalorian Episode 13, clearly we know that Ahsoka Tano is still searching for Thrawn as well as Ezra. But what does this all mean? And where can the Star Wars franchise go moving forward? Well, check it. Because in my personal opinion, I believe that last week's Mandalorian Episode 5 and the previous episode to that are not setting the stage up for the cloning facility in regards to Snoke or Palpatine. Why do I think that? 1, because it's too obvious, and 2, I think it's fair to say that the people behind The Mandalorian know Star Wars inside and out. Therefore, I believe that Disney is in truth heading in the direction of adapting/giving their own spin to the Hand of Thrawn duology sequel books, which were also written by Timothy Zahn, along with elements from the Thrawn Trilogy and that of Outbound Flight. Therefore, we could see a resurgence of clone troopers, a darker, more hopeless tone, and heck, perhaps we'll finally get a live-action depiction of the Dark Jedi, Jor Sabaoth. Oh my god, that would be so dope. Please, Disney, make the Empire great again. So here's my suggestion. If you guys haven't yet, then y'all should totally read the Thrawn Trilogy and the Hand of Thrawn books. Trust me, you won't regret this decision. But anyways, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with my theory? Do you think Thrawn will show up in future Mandalorian episodes? Or will he appear in a different movie or TV show? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And as always, if you like what you see, /hear, hit that like and subscribe button, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and until next time, peace.